Hi, so I wanted to make a video about parameter-based sidechaining in FMOD. And sidechaining is where you take the output level of a track or bus and use that value to affect other properties of another track or bus. And those that might be familiar with sidechaining in FMOD know that you can add a sidechain to as a post fader effect, and we'll have on the SFX bus, and we're going to change the properties on the music bus. And we have a compressor on the music bus, and it's linked to a side chain. So whenever the output level of the SFX bus exceeds minus 20 dB, the compressor will come into effect. And we have side chaining on the EQ. So whenever it exceeds minus 20 decibels, it will duck the mid frequencies by 6 dB. Now, this is a very effective mixing tool. However, there's limited control to these changes compared to, say, an automation curve, which you can just make any shape of graph that you want. However, using the sidechain, it's a much more linear change. So to use automation curves to change these properties, what we need to have is a parameter. And the sidechain doesn't really provide that. So what we have to do is make a parameter based on the output level. So let's just get rid of this stuff. So there's no way to output a game parameter of the output level natively within FMOD. So we'll have to do some coding. And for this demonstration, we're going to be using Unity, which uses C#. Should also be able to be done in Unreal, which uses C++, because the FMOD language is very similar. And in this game, based on a standard template, Unity template, we have a looping piece of music and a gunshot that plays whenever I press the left mouse button. We want to be able to hear that gunshot better, so it cuts through the mix. And right now I have this bus level scanner script that I made. So I've already made it out, and I'll just explain it step by step. So the first variable, the namespaces that we need are fmod fmod.studio. And we need to get the information of the SFX bus. So we have the SFX bus, the channel group, as well as the DSP, which has the relevant information, as well as this Boolean, which is more for debugging purposes, but it's still good to have. And we have the SFX output level, and we want that at starting at minus 80, because that is the equivalent of silence in FMOD. So to start, we want to establish that the SFX bus variable is referenced to the SFX bus within FMOD, and this is its path. See, all capital letters. If there were a parent bus within SFX above SFX, then we would also have yada 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 right there. And so for this part, we're getting the metering info from the DSP. We're discarding the first variable because that's giving us the pre-metering info, which we do not need. This part is what we need, the post-metering info, and it's being stored in SFX metering, which contains 4 different values, including the peak level and RMS level. Now, we're not going to just assign SFX output just to SFX metering.peak level, because this only gives us a float value between 0 to 1. We want it to be from minus 80 to 0. And we need to put it in this formula right here, a math clamp with log 10. So this will give us a value between minus 80 and 0. And now with this SFX output value being updated every frame, we need that value to be updating the FMOD parameter that we're going to make. And to do that, we have this line, set parameter by name. We're going to use SFX SC for sidechain. And the value is going to be SFX output, which we just mentioned. And this part, we're going to set to be false. When it's false, it allows FMOD to set a seek speed. When it's true, it's going to ignore the seek speed of FMOD's parameter settings. For this purposes of this, it can be true or false. It won't really matter because we want the changes to be instantaneous anyway. However, for other parameters, you may want this to be set to false so that the parameter changes more gradually. Okay, so now that Unity is sending to FMOD a parameter, we want to create the parameter in FMOD. So it needs to be a continuous type of parameter because it's a float value. We need to be the exact same name that we designated in the script, SFXSC. We want the range to be minus 80 to 0, initial value of minus 80, and parameter scope global. So now let's use those parameters to add automation curves. We don't need to add the sidechain to the SFX group. We just need to add these automation curves right here. So let's add one to the volume, the music. And previously with the sidechain, basically what it looked like was this. This is what the earlier sidechain system looked like, just linear. But with these automation curves, we can shape these curves however we want, add as many points anywhere, add curves between them as much as we want. And just so that we can hear it better, let's just make these curves extreme. And let's add one to the EQ. Oops. And see when it's at minus 20 dB, just make it real obvious. So now let's hear what that sounds like in the game. Build your bank. Just in case, refresh banks. And let's play. Right, obviously that was pretty drastic, but it does demonstrate what I was talking about. So in my opinion, this is the better way to do sidechain compression. Gives you much more freedom to do however you want. I'd say the only downside, and that's with quotation marks, is that this can't be really reflective when you're using the sandbox. However, this is more of a mixing thing anyways, and in which case you'll always be connected while you're playing the game. So yeah, this is me advocating for using parameter-based sidechain compression. Thanks for watching. If you want to see me do this in Unreal, just let me know. It should be pretty similar, but I could always just spend some time doing that. Thanks.